British rapper and YouTube star Young Philly was in tears in a Perth courtroom today.
Young Philly found not guilty.
I literally called Philly this morning. I was like, congratulations, bro. I knew it all along.
Seeing the response to the outcome of the Young Philly trial by his fans is disappointing but not surprising. Like, I can and can't believe that his fans are celebrating the verdict like there is anything to celebrate.
Initial reaction of certain people hearing that Young Philly got found not guilty on like 3 counts of R. It's disappointing, but it's not surprising.
This Philly case just shows how nobody is going to say that girl was a liar again. Nobody's going to say, why did she do that? Again, we're trying to convince ourselves that no, something's happened. He literally says not guilty. It was a love bite he's found guilty for after she said she didn't like it.
Can he come back from this? I don't know. But what can men learn from this is a really important question that needs to be answered.
British rapper Young Philly.
Young Philly.
Young Philly.
Before any of this, he was likable. The BBC 3 guy, the Soccer 8 guy, the one doing charity football matches with the nation's biggest names, the one your little brother's favorite YouTubers were always filming with. Then, in a Perth courtroom, 2 years later, 2 words changed everything. Love bites.
This Philly case just shows how nobody is going to say that girl was a liar again. Nobody's going to say, why did she do that? Again, we're trying to convince ourselves that no, something's happened. He literally says not guilty. It was a love bite he's found guilty for after she said she didn't like it. And then women say, oh, but my man's not freaky enough because he's scared you're going to accuse him. This is why a lot of men aren't freaky. They're scared because they don't know what's going to be taken in the wrong way. Like me personally, I'm saying sign up a form or something.
This isn't a story about a verdict. It's a story about how a man's own words did more damage to him than 2 years of headlines ever could.
He has worked with some of the biggest brands in the world. I mean, he's got his own freaking Heinz sauce. He's got his own shows with the BBC, Channel 4. He's, been in the Soccer Aid match. He works with charities like the Prince's Trust. And that's not even to mention the friendship group that he's in. It's some of the biggest content creators in the world, like everyone in the Sidemen, the Beta Squad, the Speed. The list goes on. So what do they all do now when they start to get all this pressure from their customers and, their fans to speak about this situation? I mean, it's either going to be a lot of silence or a lot of awkward videos.
And that is exactly what happened. Everything changed in September 2024. While on tour in Perth, Australia, Philly met a 20-year-old fan at a nightclub and took her back to his hotel. Within days, Western Australia police arrested him. He was hit with 10 severe charges, including grapefruits and assaults. His passport was seized, trapping him in Australia for nearly 2 years.
Seeing the response to the outcome of the Young Philly trial by his fans is disappointing but not surprising. Like, I can and can't believe that his fans are celebrating the verdict like there is anything to celebrate. And I think part of that is due to the way that the media is reporting on this. Like, take this BBC News headline, for example, that says UK rapper Young Philly found not guilty of woman after Australian show. His fans are clearly looking at that headline and thinking that the situation is done and dusted, when the reality is there is much more to this. Because if people actually bothered to read past the headline, as in read the actual article, they would read that yes, a jury in Western Australia found him not guilty for 3 counts without consent, but he was found guilty for 2 counts of assault occasioning bodily harm, and the jury could not come to a decision on 3 other counts, meaning he's potentially going to face a retrial for those 3 charges. So why are people celebrating this guy? He was found guilty of assault. Why would you celebrate somebody like that? It's weird. So weird. Furthermore, I find it very suspicious that the media is only reporting in their headlines that Young Philly was found not guilty and not including the fact that he was found guilty of assault. That is incredibly telling of how the media is operating, where selective reporting designed to fuel discourse is the aim, and not informing people in an accurate and balanced way. What people also need to remember is that the prosecution rate for rape and sexual assault has always been low, and that is due to a multitude of factors, such as the nature of the crimes, as well as due to culture. The fact that the prosecution felt that there was enough evidence to take Young Philly to trial and secure convictions for all of the charges levied against him, and he was found guilty of some of the charges levied against him, and 3 of those charges still remain legally unsolved, make of that what you will. Also, the amount of people I've seen that do not seem to understand that if you stand trial for a crime, you cannot be found innocent of that crime. Instead, you are found not guilty. Being found not guilty legally means that the charge against you could not be proven beyond reasonable doubt. That is not the same as being innocent. Now, I appreciate sometimes these things are not made clear, but people need to understand these sorts of things if they want to engage in these sorts of conversations. Because if you don't understand these things, how can you possibly hope to contribute effectively? I think it's abundantly clear that the people who are predominantly men celebrating the young Philly verdict, they view these sorts of situations as being men versus women. So when they see young Philly being found not guilty, they see that as a victory for men, which is incredibly telling of their characters. But to be absolutely clear, this is not a victory for anybody.
The corporate fallout was instant. Within hours of his arrest, Footasylum cancelled his contract and pulled his shows. German Doner Kebab wiped their ad campaigns. The FA, BBC, and Channel 4 permanently blacklisted him. He was systematically erased from the commercial world.
What happens now? His career's ruined. Are the brands going to take him back? Is anybody going to go near him and touch him and give him brand deals and actually get him on their team again? Probably not. But that's sad. He's been proven not guilty. In real world, he should continue as normal. But we all know that's not going to happen. That woman has ruined his life. How many times do we see this? How many times do we see where a man is falsely accused of something and then the life is ruined, but then nothing happens to the woman? When's it going to change? This isn't fair. Shame on JD. Shame on Footasylum. Shame on his mates for not backing him. Not a single mate come out and said, "No what? I don't believe it." The only person that did is that bouncer play dirty guy. He's the only one that's been talking about it, defending him, backing him. And I don't even know if they're boys or not, I don't know. But Chunk said nothing, Angry Ginge said nothing, H said nothing. None of his close mates said anything. Not even a statement to say, look, like, he's still my mate, blah, blah, I don't know. Nothing. Maybe they weren't allowed to say something. I feel like that's wrong. That's wrong. To think of him being just sat in Australia on his own, and a case to sort of just be brushed under the carpet and nobody talk about it. It just didn't sit right with me. If that was my mate, I'd be completely different. Fuck the contracts, fuck what anybody else says. I'm backing my mate, and I know he's not guilty, and I'll stand on that from day one. I'm not even his mate, and I backed him since day one, 2 years ago. I just hope his mates did the same. I hope his mates did the same, man.
Can he come back from this? I don't know. But what can men learn from this is a really important question that needs to be answered. Number 1, every one-night stand puts you at a serious risk of irreparable reputational damage. There are some women out there who are willing to make false allegations solely with the purpose of getting an out-of-court financial settlement. That's it. Secondly, none of your friends are coming to save you. Not Chunks, not the Beta Squad, not Sidemen, not any of these other content creators who previously encouraged your thirsty behavior for the sake of clicks and views, and they thought it was funny and they get sponsors because the videos go viral. None of these people are coming to save you. None of them are coming to defend your character. So number 3, your reputation precedes you. Your reputation might be the only thing you have in times like this. And what was his reputation? Hungry, thirsty dog. Every video he's drooling over a woman and his friends are laughing in his inner earpiece, telling young Philly to say more provocative things to women, essentially co-curating his thirsty online persona. So a lot of people came out saying, why are his friends not defending him? Chunks came out instead saying, oh, it's an ongoing investigation, so I can't comment on it. None of his friends defended him, and not just because of the legalities of things and the fact that his friends were all losing sponsorships, but because they all very well knew that Philly is a dog. He has predatory-like behavior with women, around women. And look at the podcast for Chunks. None of his friends believe that young Philly is an innocent little bunny, and they're not going to come onto the internet saying that, oh no, he's actually a great guy, because none of them believe that. Many of them thought it was very possible that Philly was capable of assaulting women this way.
Beta Squad disowned him. Sidemen quietly removed a video featuring him. Streamers who had built entire arcs of content around Philly went suspiciously quiet.
Oh, here we go. It is starting to happen. The Sidemen have just removed their 20 vs 1 Philly edition, and that video this morning had over 42 million views. Gone now. And I'll be honest, when this news first broke, I thought it's going to be really interesting to see who defends him and who drops him.
Notably, the person who said nothing was the person closest to him, Chunks. his longtime collaborator, the other half of some of the biggest videos on UK YouTube, never publicly commented. Not then, not since.
Yes, my peoples, like everyone, I've heard the reports coming out of Australia. Whilst I understand many of you want my reaction on it, as this is an ongoing court case, I hope you guys can understand that I can't and won't be commenting on it publicly. So yeah, I've just come on here to basically let you know the reasons as to why I can't. Love.
I literally called Philly this morning. I was like, congratulations, bro. I knew it all along. You know, I actually paid for Philly's lawyers. A lot of you don't know this. His friends left him. Chunks left him. The Sidemen left him. Everyone left Philly for nothing. Are you good friends? Chunks, are you a good friend to Philly? No, you're not. No, you're not, because you dropped him for brand deals. You dropped your brother for brand deals. Did I? Nah. I missed out on all sponsorships that I could have gotten because I defended Philly's honour.
So guys, what can we learn from the young Philly case? I mean, can you imagine meeting somebody at a nightclub and after 5 minutes of knowing them, going home and performing, MSN, BD2, B2K, Y2K, like all the alphabets, all these different types of, weird quirks and things you're into, going home and performing them on a stranger. I that's what baffles me about this case. How did he go home with a girl he just met and thinks, yeah, she'll be into this? Everybody's got things they're into and things they're not into, and the fact that he just assumed that, oh, she'll like this. Even like just the balls and the it just baffles me. You meet someone at a nightclub and then you just assume that, yeah, because I'm of who I am, because I'm young Philly, they'll be into this. They'll be, my little worker for tonight. It doesn't make any sense. You need to get to know somebody, talk to them, make them feel comfortable, and then you start saying, you know what? I like a little bit of feet. I like a little bit of this. I like a little bit of that. I like it a little bit rough. I just think that the whole culture of going home with someone after, meeting them after 5 minutes is very dangerous. It can lead to absolutely disasters, like the disaster he's in at the moment. And I feel like people need to get to know each other more. You just do, guys. You just do. You can't be going home and performing all your fantasies on a stranger. You just can't. You just can't.
Young Philly found not guilty, but guys, that's not mean he's innocent. The same way you used to tell your mom, like, oh my God, my brother hit me, oh my God. And your mom asks your brother, did you hit him? And then he's like, no, I didn't. And then your mom's like, well, he says he didn't, but he actually did. It's the same thing here. Like, it doesn't mean he's innocent. So, yeah.
The case went to trial in July 2026. The prosecution presented graphics of photos of deep bruising and teeth marks on the victim's neck and breasts, injuries that required tetanus shots. Philly claimed that they were just love bites. The jury reached a split verdict. Not guilty on 3 counts of grapefruits, but guilty on 2 counts of violent assault. But by the time the verdict came down, life had already delivered its own. It happened weeks before any juror left the room.
Initial reaction of certain people hearing that young Philly got found not guilty on like 3 counts of it's disappointing, but it's not surprising, because I feel as if some of them see their behaviors in young Philly, and seeing him not get found guilty on some of these charges is a reflection on them. So they personally feel as if they bust case. That's just how I view it. Anyone who says that he's not guilty, you do realize he still has other charges. Like, he's still got 3 more charges to face. So I'd like pause on your celebrations, because even if he's found innocent on all charges, I don't really get what's there to celebrate about. The guy's done something wrong. Like, he had encounter with this woman, and at the very least he assaulted her. I've always maintained this. If you are being accused of something and multiple people are saying you did the same thing to them, it doesn't matter whether or not you did exactly what they said. You've done something wrong. Now, do I believe that you should face prison time if you are found not guilty for the sake of public opinion? No. If you're found innocent in the court of law, you're found innocent, you walk free. It's to the victims, if they are telling their truth, it's sad, and I hope they get the justice or they get therapy to help them throughout the situation. I hope that internally everything gets resolved for them. But in the court of law, there's not been enough evidence, and that person by law is allowed to walk free. It is what it is. But
he's like, you do realize he's facing another charge in Spain. It's so obvious. There's a clear pattern of behavior, and I'm not saying this because I'm like excited or want Philly. Like I'm happy that Philly's gonna get done for. No, but like I can see that there's a pattern of behavior. There's a pattern of behavior, and you men who are just like, you're so eager to prove to be vindicated or justified in saying that a bare of these women are lying, bare of these women, and it's very much the case that some will lie because they feel ashamed and they regret the decision, so they want to pin the blame and ruin someone else's life. That absolutely does happen.
Some are calling the acquittal vindication, others are calling it a technicality. That argument isn't going away anytime soon. But here's the part that doesn't need a courtroom to settle. Whatever happens with the sentencing, whatever happens with the retrial, the reputation was already decided. And it wasn't decided by a jury. It was decided the moment he said those two words out loud. Love bites. That's all for today. Let me know your thoughts. Also, watch how Officer Tatum destroyed his own credibility in just one interview. Click the video on the screen.